Hi, crafty friends. Melissa Miner here. Thanks so much for joining me on YouTube. Today, I'm creating a layout for the Bramble Fox cut file design team. I'm over on my computer, and this is the cut file I've chosen from the website Breathtaking Views. And what I really like about the Bramble Fox cut files, if you've never used them, I encourage you to do so. But when you size the cut file, it sizes your cut file, but it also sizes the inside pieces. So that way, when you cut them, they're going to fit perfectly inside your cut file. So there's no measuring or thinking about it. It's basically like a cut file for dummies. It's so easy to use. So here's one of my mats, and then you can see here the other mat is for those inside pieces. Now, before I get too far along, let me show you the photos that I want to scrapbook today. So just a couple days ago, here in Missouri, I live on the Illinois-Missouri border in the United States, and we had the beautiful Northern Lights show. So these photos were taken right from my backyard. My boyfriend Dale took a snap of these, and I love them. Back to my cut file, I've cut the top part, or the actual cut file, in white, and then the inside pieces, I used a piece of pattern paper from a Vicky Boutin 49 in Market collection. Now, I can't remember which collection this is. I used some of the Flower Emporium and some of the Curiosities in Willow Grove. Those collections are very similar, I think, and I have tons of both of those collections. But you can see here how the cut file perfectly cut my inner pieces, and it leaves like a little lip. So it's a little bit larger than the letters. It's sized perfectly so that I can just glue this on here. Now I have the S upside down. I think I have to flip that around. But it glues, it's perfect. It's so easy to do. So I'm just adding a little glue and then adding my inner pieces. And then I'll set this aside to dry, and we'll start working on my background. I do have a 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock here, and I did add some white gesso before filming. And now I'm bringing in some Shimmers paints, and I have the color, this is a Vibes, and it's called Pink Moscato. And oh my goodness, this color matches my photo perfectly. So I'm gonna do some mixed media here. Now I have sped this up quite a while because I do take my time with my mixed media. I used quite a bit of this Vibes Pink Moscato, and then I am gonna come in with a Nuvo Mica Mist in the color Midnight Horizon. I do want to mention I am on the Shimmers Paints design team as well. So if you ever place an order on the Shimmers Paints website, you can add my name, Melissa Miner, to the notes section, and they will send you a free paint. Now, I'm kind of wishing here that I would have let my layout dry before I added some of this mica mist, because it does get a little brown in some areas. So what I do is off camera, I do bring in my heat tool and I dry it, and then I add another layer of the Vibes Pink Moscato, and then I'm going to add some more of the mica mist. So I did a little bit of that off camera, adding the more Pink Moscato, but now you'll see I'm adding some more of that mica mist. And I do bring in my heat tool after this as well. I'm a little impatient when it comes to scrapbooking. I want to complete my layout right now, and I don't like all that drying time. A lot of this is going to be covered up, but I do have this dry now. And now I've taken a piece of pattern paper, and again, it's a 49 in Market paper, either from Flower Emporium or Curiosities in Willow Grove, and I've just torn it. So I cut it down to 10 by 10 because there were a lot of white on the edges of this paper. This looks like Flower Emporium, actually. And I wanted more of the green to show because of the green in my photo. I'm actually following a sketch that's in the Bramble Fox Friends Facebook group, and each month there is a new sketch that you can participate in and post your photos for a chance to win a prize. So I've actually used the November sketch, although the November sketch, it had a twist on it to add a selfie, and I'm not adding a selfie today, but I love the sketches that are on the website, or excuse me, in the Bramble Fox Friends. All right, so here's a little something about how I want my layout to go. So I've got my two pieces of the green pattern paper, and then I'm gonna have my photo here in the center. Now I do print all my photos at home. I have the Epson PictureMate 400, and I sized these down to, they're both 3x4, and I printed them at one time on a 4x6 sheet of photo paper. So I have a little bit of overhang here from the green paper, so I'm going to snip that off with my scissors, and then I'm going to adhere my photo right to the layout. Now, anytime you do mixed media, I think it's important to use some liquid glue because eventually your tape runner is just not going to hold when you have some mixed media on the background. Now I'm not finished creating my background. I do want to bring in some additional color in another step. So now let me try to remember which direction was which, and I think I had it like this. So bring my photo back in and place my cut file where I think it's gonna go. So I think I'm ready to glue down things, but next I want to complete the step for the center of my layout. So I'm bringing in a stencil here. This is a Vicky Bouton stencil, and I've got some Cosmo glaze. This is from Brutus Monroe, and it's called Sunbeam Sorbert. That's the color. I'm not a huge fan of this Cosmo glaze, I do have to say, when it comes to large stencils. And the reason is you'll see here, when I place this down, there's like flicks of, I don't know what it is. There's like little pieces of some shimmery stuff. And so you can see here as I'm spreading this down, it's kind of bulky. It will dry back a little better, but I think it does add a funky dimension to it, which is kind of fun. I'm glad I tried it, but I don't know if I would use the Cosmo glaze again. I think maybe some like stencil butter might have worked better, but I do like the glaze that it kind of puts on and the shimmer and shine. Now I didn't just set my photo directly on there. I did bring in my heat tool off camera, and now I'm ready to continue on with my layout. So I do want to pop my cut file up to give it some dimension. So I'm adding some foam strips just behind the word views. The word breathtaking, I'm not going to add any glue or anything. It's just going to be free on my page. But since I have the views popped up, it will just kind of float over my photo. So I added my foam strips here, and then I'll peel off the release papers, and we'll go ahead and get this cut file down. I love how the paper and the paint just matches my photo exactly. I don't know where you're located in the world, but I always get really excited when I hear there's a chance that we could see the northern lights. So we had one I want to say a few months ago, but it wasn't anything like this. This was so easy to spot. Now I can't take credit for the photos because my boyfriend Dale did snap these photos for me. You'll see my kitty Pepper does make an appearance here on the video. He was very helpful this day. And in fact, while he was helping, I had a little test piece of paper off to the side with that Cosmo glaze on it. And he stepped over there, and I was so scared that he was going to place his paw in it. So I did have to pause the camera and give him some attention. And he ended up knocking over my water for my paints. It was quite the day of crafting, but I always love it when he's curious about what I'm doing and wants to be on my scrap table with me. I just love him. All right, I'm adding some ephemera, and again, it's from the 49 and Market collection, one of those, Flower Emporium or Curiosities in Willow Grove. I've actually mixed the two collections in my where I store all my scrapbooking things. Because they're so similar in color and elements, I just think they're very interchangeable. Now you'll see here I did cut some tags. Now the purple one and the green one were an actual tag. I used a piece of the 6x8 pattern paper, the same one that I cut out the cut file with. I wanted to repeat that up at the top since it had the blue, like the night sky and the stars. So I just made that into a tag. I used my tag and I traced it onto that pattern paper, and I made that a tag. You'll see here all my edges are distressed, so I used some distressing tool and edge distress those. Now I'm bringing in a Sharpie, and I just thought it was missing something, so I'm adding a little bit of doodle lines along the edges. I added a few stars from the ephemera pack and a heart. And now in my most recent Bramble Fox order, with my Fox Box Plus order, I received a few freebies and I got these stars. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to place some stars on my layout. So I'm picking out the ones that are white, and I believe they're actually clear. So when I pull the release paper off of the back, a couple of them appear clear. So I'm going to glue those down, and when I glue these down, I like to use Nuvo Deluxe glue when I'm adhering my acrylics. I find that it dries very clear, and it has a good strong hold on it. I'm using my little pick tool here to remove the backing. These are super tiny, so with nails it's kind of hard to remove the backing, but I'm removing the backing off of these. And that's going to be the finishing touch on this layout. I added a little bit of twine up there to my tags. And the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use that same Sharpie, and I'm going to draw a couple Sharpie lines over above my title. And I'm just going to add the Northern Lights and the date, November 11th, 2025. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and come back, and I hope you will join me for more layouts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!